Just a Zulu man.
How US Delta Force captured Maduro in Venezuela. I'm sure we've all seen this. It was trending that Maduro has been captured. He already appeared in New York, in their court in New York. So I don't know. Let's see how they
How do you
did it.
capture a high-value target when the whole world is watching? You create a masterclass in deception. The CIA set the stage
The
with a
animation
single
is dope here, bro. I wonder if it's the real thing that happened or just another US propaganda.
building as bait and filled the sky with 150 aircraft to create a deafening sonic shield for the helicopters to drop Delta forces. F-35s lit up the perimeter, turning night into day. By the time the dust settled, the helicopters had already touched down and Maduro was gone. We'll also look at how the US uses the F-35 jets in its Navy to launch a large-scale attack, all in the video ahead. In the dead of night,
on,
that
let's
is
see
2
it.
in the morning, the lights went out in Caracas. By 5 a.m., the president of Venezuela was gone.
What?
What
Wait.
happened? The lights went out in
2 a.m., 2, 3, 4, 5. In just 3 hours, they had already kidnapped the president.
Caracas. By 5 a.m., the president of Venezuela... The dead of night, that is 2 in the morning, the lights went out in Caracas. By 5 a.m., the president of Venezuela was gone. But how U.S. played a deception games. While the whole world were focused on the aircraft carriers in the Caribbean, a shadow war was being fought on the ground. This wasn't an invasion, it was a surgical extraction. We finally have the declassified timeline of how U.S. forces breached the heart of Caracas and extracted Nicolas Maduro. Let's start with step 1. The setup. This didn't happen overnight. For months, the U.S. had been tightening a naval quarantine around Venezuela. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and the U.S. Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group were parked off the coast.
Ooh. I wonder how far... I can see Jamaica and Cuba. I wonder how far the US is from Venezuela. Bro. But I can see that they transported him to one of these. Because there's no way the chopper would come from US straight to Venezuela. French Guinea. I didn't even know some of these countries were neighbors, bro. Colombia. I'm pretty sure since they're next to Colombia, there was once a Venezuelan cartel. Because there was a Cuban cartel, Colombian cartel, we all know that.
The pretext was clear. The U.S. designated the Venezuelan government a narco-terrorist state, specifically targeting the drugs lords, but while the Navy squeezed the coast, intelligence assets were tracking one man. They waited for a specific window, a moment where Maduro was stationary and vulnerable. Step 2, the strike. It began at exactly 2 in the morning Venezuelan Standard Time. High above, several F-35 stealth fighters punch a hole through the enemy lines, destabilizing their anti-air defenses. Like these Russian S-300...
Oh, I think this might have been an inside job, bro. You cannot take out the entire defenses in 3 hours. But they cannot do the same thing to Afghanistan and other countries that have been fighting for 50, 60 years.
100 missiles located all over the strategic high-value target. With the skies cleared, the path opens for Delta Force helicopters to fly straight towards the mission. Here comes the deception as the helicopters flew. The jets started firing with more strikes as it hit Fort Tuna, the main military base and command center, and La Carlota Air Base, destabilizing Venezuelan air support.
Oh,
Reports from the ground
so
describe
there was
widespread...
no air support at all. It had completely collapsed. I don't even know, but I'm sure this was a breach of international law.
explosions and a sudden communications blackout. The chaos wasn't the goal, it was the cover.
Ah,
Work
Ed.
is a pain in the apps. My files are in this app. My chat's in this app.
Okay, let's
But
carry
how
on.
did the raid happen? We have to look at step 3. Under the cover of darkness and chaos, the Tier 1 operators went to work. But what is the exact unit tasked with the mission? It is the Delta Force, one of the most elite secretive special forces units in the US military. Witnesses in Caracas reported low-flying aircraft skimming the rooftops, flying well below radar coverage. The team breached its
Oh, so when you're flying low, the radar cannot detect you. Because you're supposed to fly at a certain height, the radar will detect you there. But when you're flying below, It cannot, because you're below the airspace.
Secure compound believed to be a safe house within the massive Fort Tuna complex. Resistance from the Venezuelan Presidential Guard was swift but ultimately futile, as the helicopters lay cover fire. The operators moved with surgical speed, landing on multiple points. But how exactly the capture and extraction happened? For this, let's look
This was
at
an inside job, bro. There's nothing like this in the world. You cannot walk into a country, take a president, and out.
4. Specialized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him? Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolás Maduro close circle. While back in the US, Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it
just like how
blindfolded.
they train the... I think it's the FBI or not. They have a whole city where they train their agent and stuff. So they did the same thing. They built it in days.
While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force breached the compound. Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair. Within
Damn.
minutes, they were airborne, leaving Venezuelan airspace and heading to a secure floating staging base in the Caribbean. This Operation Southern
So
Spear
no one even noticed that Maduro was gone. They thought it's just a war and Maduro is on the other side. Trump is on the other side.
has changed the geopolitical map of South America overnight. But wait before after the extractions, there were reports of F-35 jets also leading the tip of the spear for the attack. We'll look how the United States used F-35 jets instead of F-16s for operations in Venezuela, because this is a well-organized and militarized Venezuela has positioned advanced Russian S-300 missile systems, Chinese radar networks, integrated Russian air defenses, and Shahed drones along its borders. This
But
creates
they were all diffused. That's why I'm saying it was an inside job. So much weapons. None of them did
in
anything.
Venezuela, because this is a well-organized and militarized Venezuela has positioned advanced Russian S-300 missile systems, Chinese radar networks, integrated Russian air defenses, and Shahed drones along its borders. This creates a highly lethal and challenging environment that older S-16s would struggle to survive. As stated, around 150 aircrafts and a massive 8 U.S. destroyers were stationed there. It also has 3 amphibious aircraft carrier and surveillance plane to turn it into a massive command and control juggernaut capable of overcoming a modern military's air defenses. Signals a readiness to counter Venezuela's entire air defense network if necessary. But why Venezuela Air Force failed to intercept? As of 2025, Venezuela's fighter jet fleet consists mainly of approximately 21 Sukhoi Su-30 multirole fighters delivered by Russia between 2006 and 2000.
Oh, these are too old. Why did Maduro only have something this old? He should have had himself at least the F-19. I think it's F-19 or 16. He knew he was going to war. He knew this was war. And then he decided, I'm going to pack the oldest weapon, 2006, 2008.
And 8, which now form the backbone of their combat air power. Additionally, they maintain about 5 operational S-16 Fighting Falcons from an older batch, including 3 single-seat S-16s and 2 two-seat S-16s. These S-16s are aging and suffer from limited maintenance and part support due to U.S. sanctions, although they have been supplemented with Israeli upgrades.
Oh,
Venezuela.
so these were made in the US. Because of the sanctions, the country that made them cannot fix them for you anymore. They cannot even give you the parts. So they are not fixed. They are not maintained. They are just modified. Like when you buy a car, you can't get the part, the Toyota part for your car, and then you go and get the Infinity part. Or when you buy an Infinity, maybe F50 Infinity, it doesn't operate in South Africa anymore. but you can get some torta parts and use them on infinite. That's how it worked.
Due to U.S. sanctions, although they have been supplemented with Israeli
So Israel, I think Israel was still working with US so they could help them upgrade,
upgrades.
but they were too old.
Venezuela acquired its F-16 jets from the United States through a foreign military sales agreement called Peace Delta in May 1982.
Oh! 1982, you cannot use 1982 weapons to fight in 2025. That's more than 20 years, bro. That's more than 20 years. That's 30 what? 32 years, 38 years,
During
whatever.
a period of good diplomatic and military relations. They were the first Latin American country to receive the S-16, with deliveries occurring between 1983 and 1985.
When you have the perfect response in your
another
head,
ad,
your
another
fingers just
ad.
can't keep up. We've all been there, typing, deleting.
The reason the U.S. does not use F-16s in current operations is because these jets lack the stealth capabilities necessary to evade the S-300 and other integrated defenses. The advanced S-300V or anti-2500 systems, supported by dense Chinese and Russian radar, can easily detect and target older aircraft at long ranges. Sending F-16s into such an environment would result in high attrition risks, as they are vulnerable to radar detection and missile engagement. Not to forget the Russian Buk air defense system that can take out an S-16 with ease. These are cheap R-15 or 24 Buk systems are already active and mobile all over the country. Additionally, F-16s are less effective in contested airspace saturated with drones, especially the Iranian Shahed drones used by Venezuela for reconnaissance and kamikaze strikes. The F-35, however, offers crucial advantages. Its stealth design enables it to fly undetected or with much lower risk, making it effective against advanced surface-to-air missiles and networked radar systems. Its sensor fusion, electronic warfare, and data link capabilities allow it to simultaneously suppress and target mobile and fixed air defense positions, adapting rapidly to counter Russian and Chinese radar configurations.
So they knew the guy did not have weapons. Bro. They knew, I think North Korea even has better weapons than this. The way Maduro was boosting, I thought he had the best of the best weapons.
While the aircrafts took out the anti-air defenses Venezuelan military as a whole, this allowed the CIA and special forces to advance towards its target. The overwhelming presence of advanced Russian, Chinese, Iranian, and indigenous air defense and drone systems on the Venezuelan border means that the stealth fighter jets, or the first wave of attack, provide both the survivability and strike capability required for such operations. But how did they rotate clockwise? Well, the distance from Puerto Rico to Venezuela is about 1,300.
Oh, so they came from Puerto Rico. These countries are closer than I thought they were. They're just closer than I thought they were.
Kilometers. This is roughly 810 miles, which translates to around 1.5 hours of flight time for an F-35 flying at high subsonic speeds. These jets rotated clockwise as its combat radius is approximately 770 miles, meaning it can reach most of Venezuela from Puerto Rico with careful fuel management and limited loitering. To extend mission time and reach deeper inland, air-to-air refueling tankers deployed strategically in the Caribbean region support these operations.
Yeah.
In situations requiring strikes within minutes, U.S. amphibious assault ships equipped with F-35Bs can launch jets rapidly. From such ships positioned in the Caribbean, F-35Bs can reach Venezuelan targets within roughly 15 to 10 minutes, depending on speed and route. Targets typically include narco-traffickers' networks, air defense installations, command centers, and drone facilities, enabling flexible sea-based strike options against both Venezuelan military and criminal infrastructure. In essence, the F-35 deployment by the U.S. near Venezuela redefines military capabilities in the region. It combines stealth, advanced sensors, electronic warfare, and networked operations to overcome sophisticated air defenses and maintain persistent air superiority and rapid strikeability against a broad spectrum of targets in Venezuela. This reflects a strategy that goes beyond counter-narcotics to deter and, if necessary, decisively counter the Venezuelan military threat. We also made a deep dive into the sea, air, and land components of the nuclear triad, so subscribe for more videos.
Bro. There's just too much going on with the US. But I know for sure, because I saw other presidents already reacting to what's happening, other world leaders already reacting to what's happening. I don't think this was legal. But it's the US after all. And if you have cash, you want to visit a country, just go to Botswana or Lesotho. Like Speed, come this side. Come to Botswana. The US is really not a good pick. Like, share and subscribe. I'm out. I'm going to look for another war video now.